Hello, everybody. Hopefully, you will be able to see me. Perhaps you could confirm if that is the case. Just waiting to see. Fingers crossed, everybody's can see. Just gonna Okay, I'm not sure whether anybody can see this yet. It might just be that the stream is behind the normal place. But we'll just hang on a moment and see. I'll just put some music on for a while and just see what's happening. Excellent. I'm pleased to hear that, Lynn, and I guess that means everybody else can as well. Yeah, just had a few technology issues. My Mac is about 9 years old and it's got a little bit poorly sick. Just going in for some maintenance. So I found that I could do the stream surprisingly from my wife's computer, which I didn't realize I could. So that was good news because I was thinking I was going to have to use my iPhone to stream and then see the comments on the computer. But it looks like I can do it in one place. So I'm very pleased about that. So yeah, good good news. It's a very old Mac and it's a very good Mac. It just needs updating a little bit. Anyway, so we're here and we're live, and I've also think I've managed to get the harp via a CD next to the computer, so we can use that as well. So good stuff. Welcome everybody. I think I have seen Heather, Lois, Lynn, Elizabeth, Simon, and I'm not sure who else I've seen now. Claire, Lorraine. So some of the comments are coming up on the phone and some of them are coming up on the computer. So I'll keep an eye out on both places. So yeah, it looks like they're not all coming through on the computer for some strange reason. I think what I'm going to do is change that setting there. Just bear me a moment, folks, and I'm going to put all messages are visible and see whether that changes things. Okay, anyway, so for some of you at least, tomorrow would mark the end of the original 28 days. Some of you may have passed 28 days already. Some started quite a bit later, so you may have further to go, but it matters not really. It was really an invitation to see how that whole experience worked for you. And I've certainly had some feedback that some people really feel keen to continue with meditating every day. So perhaps it would be good to hear a bit more about that in the comments as we share. I'll keep an eye out for that. Oh, it sounds like some people can't hear anything yet. What I'm Just bear me a second. I'm going to send a message via the phone. I'm going to suggest that they come to the channel again. Won't be a moment. Okay, hopefully they've got that message, and we'll try that route. I think it may be a case of coming into the channel again, like Lynn has rebooted. So hopefully they'll try that, and we will see where we come from there. I think that might be why I've got two sets of comments. I've just seen Dawn come on. Andrea's come on as well. Fantastic. Good. So that's good. I think it's a case of just rebooting or coming to it again. Yeah, sorry about the complications. It's to do with the computer, as I was saying earlier. So one or two may still just trying to get on stream, but hopefully they'll all work it out shortly. So what I'd suggested in the run up to this, and maybe some people might want to share something about this on the comments, but really, for your own benefit, even if it's not, you're not sharing it here. If you've been doing the 28 days, it's worthwhile reflecting upon, where was it that you were when you started? What has unfolded for you in that time that you've been committing to the meditation? Is there anything that is different for you? Have you become clearer on what is serving you? And what I mean by that, by the perhaps things that maybe you're leaving behind. I think actually that busyness that I was involved in there before isn't serving me anymore. What committing to this meditation is, or whatever, whatever that might be. So, is there something that you are leaving behind for more truth to emerge? Because the whole process of self-realization is very much about leaving behind all that we think that we are. So all that we truly are just flowers, emerges and blossoms in us, with us, as us. So yeah, these are the types of questions, even if you're not answering them on the stream, maybe just taking time to look at that for yourself. I'm just going to have a look at the comments on the iPhone just to see if everybody's with us now. Feels to me like a quickening is quickening. It feels to me, please let me see from here. I think Elizabeth is still struggling. Could somebody, sorry, I'm going to do it myself. Just bear with me a moment. Okay, she's still struggling. I think everybody else, though, has probably worked it out. Okay, so Dawn, yeah, I can realise that you may have to go sometime soon, so that's halfway through. That's fine. I wanted to have a look. It's a shame that Elizabeth hasn't worked it out yet, but I wanted to look at something that she raised. So I'm hoping that she'll suss this out fairly quickly. But I will. What I'll do is I'll do the second part first, in the hope that she'll suss out the the answer to the question that she asked when she's back on stream with us. So she was just sharing an experience which I'll comment on. She was saying that in deep meditation, she feels the lower part of her body getting really warm. And then that warmth sensation shifts to the heart region. And then her body shakes a little bit, just like the experience when she had a one-to-one with me at the monastery in Manchester. When she connected with me there. She then says tears and emotions will often be released, although it's not as powerful as it was when she was with me, which that created a feeling of bliss. And I just wanted to comment on that. You know, this warmth sensation and it moving up into the heart space, it just shows you the power of the awareness in the meditation infinite silence. It certainly can generate that kind of feeling in the body, and it moving up into the heart space is a very good sign in my experience. Also, if emotional energy, tears and what have you are coming up, then this is also good, because that energy is seeking to be released from the body. I'm just going to check what Elizabeth is saying here. Do you get it where? Okay. The emotional energy is coming up for release. And that, just simply by witnessing it from the silence, is enough. You don't actually have to do anything. It will just go of its own accord. So that's all that's necessary, the pure witnessing. The pure witnessing. I just need to respond to Elizabeth here because she's still struggling. Just bear with me, folks. Right. It does look like it's only Elizabeth that's struggling. I'm not entirely sure. So just completing that piece, you know, if this kind of stuff does arise, then the key thing is just to accept it as it is and let it happen. Just let it happen. And it really will pass just by the power of your awareness alone. That's how powerful it is. And it makes it so much easier, so much simpler, you know, fighting or flighting from the emotions, as I talked about in live stream 11. Let's just see what Dawn's saying here. And Andrea, just want to share, I'm having an intense day, Philip. Lots of unravelings and emergence. Lots of flowing. Luckily, I can hear you telling me to allow. Good. That is good. And what's Andrea said, although I've not managed it all 28 days yet, I have totally appreciated the time I have given to myself. I have found an inner calm and clarity. It seems easier to generate new possibilities, to be true to I am. And then Dawn's adding, yes, these 28 days have been profound. It feels just like an increasing, constantly gaining a lot of momentum. So just picking up on that, Dawn, the intensity often is indicative of a bigger shift. Oh, I'm delighted about that, Elizabeth. The intensity when that emerges, when it's very strong in the body, it is indicative of, you know, some big shifts taking place, and sometimes they can be, and also the unravelings that you're talking about, and it can be a little bit like in an electrical circuit. Your body is, in a way, an electrical circuit, a kind of good metaphor. When there's resistance in electrical circuits, when there's a resistor there, it gets hot, and it's a little bit like that if there's some resistance. So if you're feeling very intense heat, very intense sensations and so forth, the key is to just relax into it more and just witness. And the more that you surrender, the more that you allow, the quicker it flows, the faster it flows. So hopefully that's helpful to you, Dawn. Just picking up on Andrea. Andrea, I'm so glad that I know that you started about a week later than anybody else, but this is the whole gift of meditation, really. You know, taking that time, half an hour, which isn't a massive amount of time, really, you know, at a key point in your day, is gonna make the experience of life in the body so much easier, so much calmer, and so much more centered. And the reason that it seems easier to generate new possibilities is that your head's now not as full of stuff as it was be. It would have been buzzing around thinking of this, that, and the other. You're stiller inside, you're stiller. And in that stillness, that there's an emptiness into which the flow, the natural flow of creativity of the entire universe will flow in its unique expression. That's Andrea. So this is why it's a much more creative space. And another bit there, you heard refer to in the meditation the term spheres of light, which I say is the same as the universal I am presence. One of the insights that came to me very early on with spheres of light is that it's like the golden egg of creation, or Hiranya Garbha. Look that up, Hiranya Garbha, from the Hindu tradition. And I was also told, but in insight, it's what's called a Genesis meditation, meaning creative, right from the very source. Spheres of light is a Genesis meditation, was the insight. So these are many reasons why it feels that way. Andrea, let's just see what you're saying there. As you talk of emotions, I've also been experiencing a real flow of emotion and vibration, but just sitting with it and allowed it to be with initially, it doesn't feel natural at first. Yeah, so this may be at first a new experience because we're so used to getting hung up and attached to the emotional journey. But when you sit back at first, it seems a little bit strange, but the one that it seems strange to is ego mind. To the heart, as you center into that space, you will find it becomes completely natural. And then the energy, the emotional flow will just pass. In fact, it's being touched from every direction by the silence, and it's being transformed back into the very source. So it will feel more and more natural the more that you practice. So one of the things that I felt might come for some of you, and it sounds like certainly that's happening for a few of you, is the urge from within to keep going, because this is about your journey, or the journeyless journey back to your truth. You know, and there are many practices out there. Somebody asked a question today earlier on Facebook about what practices people used, and there are many, but the reason that people tend to focus in the end on meditation is because of its innate power to connect you to you. You're getting in touch with yourself. The tools are, if you like, bridges to being there, but the completeness is in the infinite silence itself. So this is why beings such as the Buddha and many others, they'll realize their true nature through meditation. So it's beautiful that you've committed. Just going to keep an eye. I've got 2 streams of comments coming through here, so it's just a bit tricky to keep on top of them both. But hopefully I'm picking them up as we go along. So hopefully that's answered Dawn's and Andrea's comments. Elizabeth, I just shared your earlier experience, and maybe you could listen to the first few minutes again, but what your question I haven't done yet because I wanted to wait until you came on, and you're now with us. So I want to go to that now. I've kind of touched on it to some degree already, but I'll go over it in detail now. So Elizabeth saying, I'm doing my meditations and I go to bed feeling so peaceful. Yet some mornings I can wake up feeling melancholy, ? Yesterday morning, as I awoke, a voice said, trust and surrender. Then as I came to, the thoughts started rushing through. I just became the observer. Is this a process of cleansing? I hope you don't mind me asking you. Well, of course I don't mind. And actually, Elizabeth was very happy for me to read this out on the stream when I checked that with her earlier. So let me take this bit by bit, because I suspect most people have had an experience not dissimilar to this in some way. So obviously she's going to bed feeling peaceful, which is indicative of being centered in the silence, in the heart space. That's good. This whole sleep process can, through the subconscious, bring up stuff that you're carrying around that is not being released, particularly dreams, as we talked about on one of the streams. I can't remember which one that was now, but it was a couple of streams ago. Have a listen to that one again, where we talked about dreams. I think it was 2 ago. Then she said, waking up feeling melancholy. Now, melancholy, sadness is a letting go energy. So whenever that is present, you again key just to simply witness that from the silence and actually take it as a good sign. On live stream 11, I talked about this in particular, where when people share with me in a one-to-one way, the sadness here now, and I go, great. And I said at the time, it may seem like an odd thing to say. And you may recall, for those of you listening to that one, what I said was the reason it's great is because it's a letting go energy. It's often the final phase before a deeper experience of peace and emptiness and openness starts to occur. So if there's sadness there, melancholy, it means the awareness has got to the point where you're ready to let it go. So just trust this. This, for me, is a good sign, Elizabeth. So I hope that makes sense to you on that first part. Then she says, yesterday morning as I awoke, a voice said, trust and surrender. That voice was coming, that message was coming from the silence that you are. And trust, as I've talked about at length on live stream 11, when you get to the highest form of trust, it becomes a knowing, an experiencing. And what that is a direct invitation from the self to drop the mask, to drop the mask of ego, the game that it's been playing. So take this as a really excellent insight that you've been open enough to receive and hear. That's appeared because you're ready to hear it. That is really important, Elizabeth. That has appeared because you're ready to hear it. I cannot state that strongly enough. Same for all of you. Though you're committing to this because you're ready for it. What that is doing is saying you're finally allowing that space to listen to the messages of the silence, the heart space. And that will always come and meet you more than halfway. So this message, Elizabeth, is profoundly important. Any emotional energy, any baggage coming up, very important. You're welcome, Elizabeth. Just going to carry on a bit further. So then as I came to, the thoughts started rushing through and I just became the observer. Is this a process of cleansing? So yeah, what's happening there is ego mind wants to start coming on stream like it has done for however many years you've been in that body. And normally, let's say, we're so conditioned into being normal rather than natural, you start following the train of thought, you start catching the train of thought. But what you did different this time was being the observer, being the witness. This is fundamentally important because as you be the witness, what you're doing is not putting energy into identification energy, belief energy, attachment energy into the thought stream. And what you'll find, the more effective you get at that, is it'll slow down and come to a stop just by the power of your awareness. So as I look at the screen here with you, the awareness is looking straight through and there's no thoughts. This words I'm sharing isn't thoughts expressed, it's insight from the silence. There's a listening going on to that. And it's that that's articulating the response. So this is the deeper form of communication that's taking place here. I've just seen your comment, you're in tears, Elizabeth. I'm taking that's good tears, but let us know if it's not. That's what I'm guessing. But but whatever, just be with that. Even witness the tears, whether they're tears of joy or tears of release. Yes, very grateful. Okay, good. Just simply witness even those. Even those. This too will pass. But what will never pass is the absolute infinite silence, the true source that you are, that is permanent. Let me just see if I've picked up on everything on your thing. Yeah, you asked, is this a process of cleansing? That would be a way to describe it for sure. I think I wrote a post on the website called The Great Cleansing. And you know, so much dense energy is being carried around in the body vehicle because of the conditioning that we've all gone through, that as you deepen in to and become or realize that you are the awareness, the body, so to speak, being a denser vehicle, has to catch up. So yes, it can feel like a cleansing, but it gets easier the more you're just acting as the silent witness, remaining in that space as that space. Then this will just happen effortlessly. That's the natural grace, the perfume of the silence that's doing that. It won't be because you've done anything. It'll be because you have allowed and you have been open to this highest truth. You've followed the urge of the heart. It requires a great openness and trust and allowing with those in place. The realization is inevitable by following that inner calling, that inner urge. So the trust and surrender message is fundamentally important, saying, look, it's saying it's here for you and it's here now. Not tomorrow, not next week, next year, now. It's here now, and you, the non-personal you, are it. That's also what it's saying. That's applicable to everybody, by the way. Just reminded of something that came to me. It was maybe a year or two before the experiential realization, and it just came to my consciousness then to sort of share it with you, that's resonant with the question that Elizabeth has asked here and is connected with this trust and surrender. And the message that came at that time was, and this is applicable to you all, so hear this as if it's being said from within you. The message was, or the insight was, God has invited me to his satsang. Wasn't even sure of the meaning of the word satsang at the time, but it turns out to mean the presence of truth. This is the invitation. And you are that already. This is what's happening. Dawn, thank you, Philippe. I can't watch really, but I'll watch back in later. Oh, yeah, sounds like you've got something on. Do you remember we spoke about the marinading? I've been in that space all day long, but as soon as I tuned in, it's become even more intense, but can barely function. Okay, it sounds to me like, Dawn, that you probably need to focus on that now. And the reason for the intensity is that the power of the transmission, which is also in you, is taking over, and it's inviting you to let go. And if that means perhaps not sort of being so focused on the stream and just giving yourself some space, then that might be a good ploy for you. Just know it's time to surrender and let go and watch, and it's all okay. I am there with you. The other bit that Dawn's mentioning there, folks, is she's using the term marinading. I'd suggested to her from an experience that she'd had. The key thing now was to marinate, like you marinate a dish or some food, to impart flavor into it. And the offering that came to me for Dawn was to marinate in the silence. And also then I got an insight about that it was time for her to marry, as in the word marriage, herself, the silence, the true self. Marriage is an appropriate word for self-realization. It's not in the human context, but it's in the marriage or the coming together of the apparent separateness to marry and harmonize as one. And that's why Dawn's using the term marinating. We're marinating in the silence so that we become the silence. Do let me know, Dawn, if you need any support post stream. But for now, we'll carry on. I'm just going to check the phone just to see if there's any other comments coming up. Dee's obviously struggling. So just going to put a note on for Dee. Just bear me a moment, folks. Okay, so that's some questions and so forth that came up there. Hopefully Dee will work it out. Yeah, sounds like she's struggling a little bit there. Okay, what else is there? There were various other experiences that people shared, and there was another poem by Lee. And I don't propose to read it all out because we've already been going about 40 minutes. But what I did want to do is draw out one particular insight. The poem came in the form of an insight from the silence, and it speaks to something I was pointing at a little bit earlier. One of the lines was in the insight that came to her in poem form was, in fact, two of the lines was this: no longer seeking excitement to anesthetize my dulling ache. no longer seeking excitement to anesthetize my dulling ache. And it absolutely leapt out of the page at me when I read those two lines. And the reason for it was this. Is because part of the conditioning is, ego's always in the activity mode. And rather than facing the celestial music, as I call it, it'd rather run away and use all sorts of things, whether it's from, drugs or various other things, or just going out and having a completely wild time, or even what I sometimes refer to as the spiritual sweetie shop. There's so much spiritual material out there. You can go, I'll try this next, and I'll try that next, and I'll try the other next. When actually, the truth of who you really are is here now. And that's not saying anything against the tools and the gifts that are out there, but ultimately, it will always come back to what's in here and trusting that, which is why people sometimes go on these explorations, these outer, try this, try that, try that, and then come back to the meditation. So what Lee was saying was she was realizing, committing to this 28-day meditation program has, by listening to the call of her heart, has actually made her, if you like, focus on what's coming from within already without having to use X, Y, Z and all these other bits of excitement of different events and various other things she was going to, and actually realizing it's all here within her now. And this was a profound awareness for her. And this is key, folks, because at some point, accepting the possibility that actually this realized self, this realized essence, is actually who I am. Ego is small, nothing in comparison to it. It's all here and it's within you. And this opening to that possibility, which is where Lee was leaning towards, in the realizing that actually didn't need to do this, that, and the other in terms of excitement. Actually, it's all here. And as she's doing that and opening into that, the natural flow of joy for no reason, that's irrespective of events, starts to come forth. So I just wanted to draw that piece out for you out of Lee's comments. What's Dawn saying? For D, rather. Thank you for your questions, but I'm going through realizing I've had tiredness and resistance to meditation again over the last few days. So I've been dropping in whenever I can during the day. Yeah. This happens, this resistance to the meditation, to the commitment. And you can be sure, if it's resistance, that it's not coming from the heart space, that it's coming from here. This one is starting to realize that, oh dear, my days are numbered. She's really committing to this. So I'm going to put up a bit of a fight. So you can take it as a good sign. Face the resistance head on. Know that it's not truth. Witness it from the silence and it will pass. Yeah, there's a post, Elizabeth, a roller coaster. I'm going to suggest you look out for that one. It's called The Emotional Roller Coaster. Have a read of that. It explains in depth why it happens. Debbie, what's Debbie saying? Aha, that's what I feel like. I need to let go of stuff that I've accumulated, cut away stuff. that I thought was me, but isn't. Yeah, exactly that, Debbie. If there's a thought about what you think that you are, it's not truth. It's realization. It's a remembering. Okay, so what's Elizabeth saying here? The character fades so the soul can grow. Dee, that's what I meant. Okay, yeah, I think we're all on the same page. The character is a good way of putting it, because basically we're wearing an actor's mask. It's like a big masquerade, a masked ball that's taking place, and that gets stripped away, sometimes quite forcibly with the intensity, other times more gently. But allowing that to happen, the realization emerges. Simple. The divine play of existence. Yes, indeed, Christine. Reminds me of a quote that somebody asked. I know Christine that's said it, that's reminded me. Some of you may have heard of Muji, a realized being also. And somebody asked him once, what did you do? And his response, and I completely resonate with it, is it did me. It did me. What he means by that is who he thought he was, if you like, done in, melted, marinated into the silence and became the silence, not through an effort on his part, but by his openness to it. The silence, the self comes forth. It is so simple, and yet we appear to feel it's difficult. But as we get deeper into the process, it becomes obvious that we've always been this. Always been this. Anyway, folks, we've been going for about 47 minutes, amazingly. So it feels like it would be time to do a meditation if everybody's up for that. So just let's see what Lewis is going to be. A bit rough, but it's been my reaction to events that disturbs me. It's been nice to have meditation to take the edge off after days and shift it. The I thought becomes more prevalent when stressed. Yes, indeed. Yeah. And the reaction emerges because of the identification, Lewis. So the fact that you're using the meditation to take the edge off, and then, okay, it might be taking a little while to shift, but that's okay. Just keep going, just keep going, just keep going. And you all say something very important there. The I thought becomes more prevalent when stressed. Exactly. And the reason for that is because the I thought, the small I, is stress, is identification, it is ego. And so when we're using the word I, more often than not, what we're talking about is the egoic I this, I the other, I that, I that. And actually this relates to a comment that Lynn shared, and we use it so glibly. I this, I the other, me, you, that, them, all in the context of separation. and separation is suffering. When I'm talking to you on this stream, though, by virtue of language, it's sometimes necessary to use the personal pronoun, or appears to be, but more often than not, the I being spoken of here, that's being pointed at here, is the infinite I, the capital one I, the Roman numeral type I, the one, the true one. Whereas more often than not in everyday language and life, it's small I this, small I the other, small me, small you. And this is identification, attachment, and belief. The big things that are going to stop the realization of the self. Okay, I'm going to call it quits there. I'll come back to the comments later, but feels like it would be good to have a meditation now. So if you want to just relax, whether you're sitting or lying down, and close your eyes. And just simply bring your attention to your body. And as your attention focuses on your body, just be open from your heart to the experience of spheres of light, the pure, universal I am presence. Just the pure state I am. Nothing after the words I am. And as your attention rests on this state, I am, simply know now that this is only possible because this I am can only be seen from the deeper essence that is infinite. Silence. So simply allow your attention to rest in and as this silence. just melting, merging into the ocean of silence. Trusting, knowing, becoming the silence. For you are this infinite silence, the isness of the entire universe. Is you, the true, non-personal you. This isness, this silence, here, now, simply witnessing all else that is present. Nothing to do here, just simply allow, merge, melt, and realize you are this silence, this infinite silence. Ever presence, beyond time, beyond space, beyond the beyond. Is you. For all of eternity. Nothing you have to do to be this. You are already this. No effort required. Ever presence. the perfection of the silence. Is here now. Everything is automatically offered up to, surrendered to this. For this you can trust. In silence, we trust, and the we becomes one. The oneness. And Amber's about to join us. Absolute stillness. This rarefied atmosphere of silence. Here you are. This resting place, placeless place. Now, here. Know that this stillness, this silence can be your permanent resting space, even though you have this body, this form. You are still the silence, the infinite, the eternal. And this body is simply a gift from this to experience itself, to realize experientially its highest truth. Never have you not been this infinite silence. Always you will be this. Here you are. This resting, nothing else matters. Simply this. Truth. The whole truth. And no thing but the truth. Here it is. Here you are. The true you. So in a moment, folks, I will ding the singing bowl 3 times. And just gradually coming back to this space, but keeping your attention rested in and as the silence. know that your attention can remain in the silent essence always, no matter what. And I'm just gonna see if you can, I'll play the CD, see if we can pick up on the harp whilst people are coming to from the meditation. And then I noticed there was a few questions or comments that came up just as we were going into the meditation there. So I'll pick up on those in a moment. And if there's anybody who wants to share anything else from the meditation or anything else that's here for them, you can do so. So fingers crossed, you'll be able to hear the CD come on. Okay, so yeah, that was just the harp playing through the CD player, not as part of the stream, because I'm using my wife's computer, in case you didn't pick up on that earlier, Lewis. So I'm not using the standard streaming software, which is all integrated. So that's why it's a little bit different, but at least we did get a bit of harp, so that's good. So there are a few comments there. I think Simon talked about laughing at his ego more, or smiling at it. And yeah, that's a good place to be, Simon. Just to kind of, smiling at it from within, seeing it for what it is, the tricks it's up to, and smiling from within, and that way it just melts away. I noticed a question from Elizabeth saying, can we feel lonely on this journey? And certainly that experience is possible, but also know this, Elizabeth, this is a little trick the ego is playing, trying to say, by going there down this path, you're going to be lonely. And this is a false idea or belief of ego, even though the experience may be there in the body, it's just to be witnessed. In actual fact, you can never be lonely. that's just an idea or concept. It actually, as you transition into the realization, it becomes what Osho used to call aloneness, or more accurately, our all oneness. All oneness. Yeah, I noticed a few of you liked Amber joining for the meditation. That wasn't meant to happen tonight. I thought we'd close the door, but I think my wife must have left the lounge door open and I accidentally left the kitchen door open. And I heard her coming in. I thought, here we go. So just nicely timed for the meditation. So I'm glad you enjoyed it. She's definitely a thirsty dog when she drinks, and she drinks with some joy. And by the way, Amber's second name is Joy. Amber Joy is her full name. Amber Joy, for good reason. I think you now see. I'm not sure I'm picking up all the comments here. Will there ever be another live streaming sessions? Yeah, actually, I'm glad you raised that, Lynn. Certainly planning to do some more. Prior to the 28-day meditation challenge, I'd been doing them every 2 weeks, it was more or less, sometimes weekly. And that was based on some feedback when they first started. I am happy to continue at some frequency to be determined if there's a willingness from people who are open to their truth to do so. So please let me know if that's the case, if there's a willingness and desire for these streams to continue. Certainly at least twice, bi-weekly or fortnightly would be the minimum that I would like to do. And on that front, something that I suspect you'll be very keen on, Lynn, I'm feeling our calling to actually do via live stream the open gaze experience and infinite touch remotely, so to speak, live on the stream. Where you would simply sit opposite your screen and look directly into my eyes, and I will be looking as if I am with you from the silence. Wanted to sort of see whether there was an openness to people trying that as part of a meditative experience. Yeah, I thought that you would say that, Lynn. I'm just interested in others. I know that Lee is. So a live version of the open gaze and infinite touch. Some of you have experienced that in the workshops. And silent open gaze sounds great, says Dee, and definitely says Christine. So yeah, it sounds like there's a leaning towards that. If anybody else is up for that, let me know. The silence is actually calling for me to do that. In fact, there's a possibility I may create a page or separate site for it at some point. But a very strong message came a while back. But I wanted to see how the streams went in other ways first. So yeah, and if that's the case, if there's enough openness to trying that on a live stream, then my proposal would be to make that the next live stream. The open gaze, infinite touch. Obviously there won't be a physical touch, but it doesn't really matter. There is no distance as far as the silence is concerned. So that would be the next stream, if everybody's up for that. So yeah, everybody seems to be open to that possibility. So we will go for that then, folks. So I'm fairly certain, I'll have to double check the calendar, but I'm fairly certain that the next, a week today, the 9th of November should be fine. So let's put that in the diary, 9th of November, same time, same place. I'll let you know if there's a problem. I will tag you all as usual, but let's make that a date. I don't think there's a reason I can't do it at the moment, but let's go for it, 9th of November, 2000. I think I saw a comment from Heather about having the harp to start the meditation at some point. They're whizzing past so fast now that I can't keep up with them all. But I'll probably do that when I get my Mac back. I need to. The music is incorporated into the streaming software, and so I can flick it in and off at will. Whereas tonight I've had to use the CD player. So once I've got that all set back up on the machine, I should be able to do that for you. What's Andrea saying? Would be great to experience silent open gaze. Please do not put yourself under any pressure to deliver live streams. I'm grateful for whenever we go. No, it's actually no pressure as far as I'm concerned, Andrea. For me, this is a calling. It may be maybe a little bit impractical to do every week, but certainly fortnightly is pretty comfortable for me. The other thing I was interested in, folks, I mean, I've chosen Fridays partly because it was like a way into the weekend. Obviously, lots of people working and stuff. Is Friday night still UK time still good for people? Is there a better night? I suspect no matter what time I did it, there's always going to be some people who've got some other commitment. So I'm open to suggestions on that. But otherwise, I will keep it for a Friday. But unless anybody's got any sort of strong suggestions otherwise. Yeah, I think that's in response to the harp, Heather. You're obviously in California like Lynn, but you might be interested to know that when I do the live events, a 2-day or even a 3-day retreat together, often I'm able to have the harp music there, sometimes live with the harpist, sometimes not, where we use the harp to take us into the silence sometimes, not always. But for those of you who've experienced, know how powerful that can be. And in fact, a lot of the tracks here that are played are actually came through a series of shifts that the harpist had, and they just emerged, excuse me, from the silence. And so it was actually at a retreat the insight came to use the harp music for the background to the CD, the videos, and also then an event in Corfu it was, where I got a message to incorporate Tara and Ken into some of the retreats and 2-day events. So yeah, it is wow. That's a good word for it. I can't take them to them all, but certainly use the music wherever it's appropriate. What else? Friday's good for me most weeks now. I've changed my meditation class schedule. Okay, that's good. From D. Lynn says you show up whenever, as long as I'm warned off time, of course. Well, yes. So we'll go for next Friday, 9th of November. Yeah, 9th of November, 2000 UK time for the next one, and we'll dedicate it to the live stream Open Gaze Infinite Touch. I actually felt called to write that up the other day as a post on the website. Have a look at the blog. It's called The Open Infinite Touch and the Open Gaze. It's a short post with 1 or 2 brief experiences on there. There have been many profound ones. but it'd be really good to do this with you on a live stream basis. I've only did it very briefly once before, so to have a full kind of go at it, so to speak, would be interesting to see how you will connect with that, and we'll see where it goes from there. Just wondering if there's any other questions anybody's got. Well, I'll just check that if there's anything else anybody wants to share. For those of you in the UK, in the Manchester area, I'm actually at the monastery for the Health and Wellbeing Day on Sunday, the 4th of November, which is actually my birthday in this body, at least, which would be nice. So, and then obviously for the Self Realisation program, a week following that, the 11th of November, and also by request of Dee and a friend of hers, we're going to incorporate on the 11th of November in the meditations, a worldwide meditation event that a friend of Dee's is organising. So we'll incorporate that, and we will be part of the 11 because 2018 adds up to 11 numerologically speaking meditation. And it also happens, of course, to be Armistice Day, which I feel was very powerful. So we'll incorporate that meditation at the monastery on the 11th of November. And I know that Dee's organising one, but she'll be joining us later in the day. So if you can't be with us in person on the 11th of November, then do join us in spirit. Collectively, the worldwide meditation, tune in with the infinite silence. Question there, will it be recorded, please? Is this the 11th of November you're referring to, Elizabeth? Perhaps you could confirm that. Happy birthday for Sunday. Won't be able to make Sundays. It turns out it's your mum's birthday, Honor, but I will see you on the 11th. Excellent. Look forward to seeing you on the 11th, Dee. Yeah, I think you might mean the 11th of November, Elizabeth. I hadn't got any plans to record it. Could look at it. It might be difficult to record a whole day. I haven't really got all the kit for it, but I might be able to pick up the specific meditation on my iPhone with my tripod. I could possibly try that if the group is open to that. It would only be for about half an hour or so. I'll look at the possibility there and see what we can do. Otherwise, just put some time aside on that day, and you will be with us in spirit. I'm just going to see on the phone just to see if there's any other comments I've missed. I think some of them are coming through. I think they're all coming through on the computer now. So, folks, anything else anybody wants to share before we close the stream? It's been a great pleasure to be with you. There will be some meditations online for 11:11 if you're not able to record, Philip. Okay, so you might be able to pick up on one of those, Elizabeth. If I can't record anything, I'll try and I'll certainly take the phone along and take my tripod along and see if I can record the meditation. Okay, so anything else for anybody else? So we've had a good session tonight. It's been an hour and a half already, and Amber's joined us as well. How good can life get? So yeah, it sounds like there's a really strong momentum going here. So my encouragement to you folks Keep on meditating. It really will transform you from within. And if there's any more experiences you want to share, you can do that in a number of ways on the forum, on the website. You can do them on the streams. You can send them on Facebook, whatever. I feel that the kind of community aspect of this, the sharing and the mutual flowing through the journeyless journey is very supportive, a kind of virtual community. So the more that you kind of share each other and the more I can respond to that, powerful it gets. I remember Osho saying in a book that's called Tantra, the Supreme Understanding, and he says, I have nothing to say to you, and that's what it feels like for me. But when there's a question, emerges, then I can lean into that question and offer insight. So this is the value of the inquiry. And that's why I always ask if there's anything you want to share or ask. You simply become the silence. Curtis is saying something here. I'm not sure if the sentence is complete. I feel as if, I'm not sure if there's something to be added there, but anyway, we'll see. So yeah, the questions, the sharing is very, very useful, because I think Andrea said, I didn't pick up on it earlier, but one person's question is actually everybody's question, and there are no stupid ones. So it's always worth asking the question. Okay, Curtis has added a bit more here. I feel like I'm rooted to the spot following the meditation. I would say this is good, Curtis. Just allow that. What the silence, the heart space is inviting you to do is stay still in that space and let it anchor. And as I was talking earlier, rooted or marinating in the silence, all will be well. So just accept that. Mind might want to say, oh, you should be doing this, should be doing that, but no, just stay still. Just be still. It can sometimes be like that when you've had a deep experience of the silence. So embrace this. Embrace this. Hope that's okay. Sort of useful pointing for you, Curtis. And welcome, by the way. I don't think I've necessarily seen you live here before, but you're very, very welcome to join, as is indeed anybody who is open to this. So what I'll do is I'll play the harp for a little bit longer just to see if anything else pops up. Give a couple of minutes of that. And if there's anything that comes up, I might come back. Otherwise, I'll probably close the stream. So it will sound different because it's coming from the CD player rather than from inside the computer, so to speak. Good, okay, that's good, Curtis. I'm glad that sort of spoke to you. So harp coming on soon. So yeah, feel free to share if anybody wants to share anything. I'll come back if necessary. Otherwise, at some point in the next few minutes, I'll close the stream. Just want to respond to something from Dawn there, folks. So I'm coming back and I'll put the harp on, but just felt it was important to respond to Dawn. I get the rooted feeling, but I have the most intense waves of energy running through the entire body. It's near constant now. Dawn, you must just be with this and let this happen and witness it. It sounds a little bit like that kind of plugged in type experience I've sometimes referred to, waves of energy flowing through. Your body is adjusting to a new vibration. So let this happen. Also, a good idea to keep yourself grounded if you can. I know it's a bit cold at this time of year, feet on the grass, or maybe drink water. Certainly anchored your feet to the bare feet to the ground, something anchored, touch a radiator, that's quite grounding because they're earthed. Just let that happen. Or look after your body, nurture your body when this type of very profound energetic shift is taking place. Hopefully that's helpful to you, Dawn. Yeah, Lynn's experienced that too. It can be a little bit strange or unsettling for the body. So be grounded, be grounded. Dee's posted a couple of links here, by the way, for the 1111. So I'm just going to show those. The reason it took a while for them to come up is I have to approve any links that people put up. It's just like a spam filter. So hopefully that'll help you, Dawn. It will pass, but keep yourself grounded. You know, drink water, make sure you eat properly. This is going to help. Surrender, 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 surrender. So, and if need be, message me on Messenger after the stream if you need any more help. So just wanted to respond to that. I'll put the harp back on and okay, that's all right, Dee. Don't worry about it. It's come up now. It's not happened before, and I just realised there was a facility for me to approve it. So yeah, harp coming back on. If there's anything desperate, I'll come back. Otherwise, have a fantastic weekend, folks. Namaste. Thank you all for committing to this program. It sounds like it's been beneficial in many ways. So do keep going. It will transform you. See you next Friday, 2000 UK time. Namaste.